Good morning. Welcome to the FFLGuard federal webinar that we do once a month or so. It is 11 o'clock Eastern on the hell's today? Monday the what? I don't know.
Fourth.
Monday the 4th. Thank you, Davis. Monday the 4th. It's been an exceptionally long February, which I'll give you all the dirty details on that. You're going to love this story that I can share with you. But in the meantime, let me tell you who's here. Let me put on my old man glasses. We've got Avis down in South Carolina. Hi.
Hi.
We've got Mike down in Virginia down there. We've got the other Mike with his Oriole cap on, proudly representing there over in Delaware. Brother Brian, and I know everybody else was busy doing stuff today, Alexis and others, so this is the crew we're running with. If anybody would normally join the California call after this, unfortunately, it's had to be postponed. The California boys were all tied up, so we will reschedule that or just punt on it until next time around. Okay, so what can we talk about today? We had a little list. Franzi, you're usually good for giving us the rundown on what we're going to talk about. What do you want to talk about? What should we talk about? I know there's a lot in the hopper.
Yep, there's a few things. I did have a list of a few things I wanted to go over. One is, I don't think we've talked about this before. At least I haven't, I don't believe, on the FFLGuard calls, is the ATF Demand Letter 2 program. So I know some of you are on that program. And bottom line is, if you sell a lot of guns, eventually you're going to be on the ATF Demand Letter 2 program, because that's anybody, any FFL, who basically has 25 or more firearms traced to them during the previous calendar year. So meaning if you had 25 or more traced to you in 2023, there's a good chance that and it had a short time to crime of less than 3 years, there's a excellent chance, 100% chance, you're going to be on the ATF Demand Letter 2 program, which basically requires you to submit information regarding used firearms to the ATF Tracing Center to assist them in conducting traces on those used firearms that are always difficult to do when firearms change hands without going through an FFL. So that's part of that. Now, the reason I brought this up was recently there was an article in the USA Today regarding the ATF Demand Letter 2 program, and the names of FFLs were released to USA Today of anyone who was involved in the Demand Letter 2 program. And again, they had some little bit of comments in there regarding that program and saying that, all because you're on the ATF Demand Letter 2 program doesn't mean every firearm that was traced to you was used in a crime. It could have been somebody who got pulled over and they had a firearm in their vehicle, but they did a trace on it, and they realized, hey, they had a concealed carry permit, for example. So that's one way you can get, if you had multiples of those, that could be on a trace on the Demand Letter 2 program. But however, there's a lot of firearms that get traced like that. It's a concealed carry permit. It doesn't mean it was used in a crime. So bottom line with the Demand Letter 2 program, these names were released. The article was published. So there's a possibility that, you may have some of these anti-gun groups protesting outside your premise. That's happened before when they get the names of some people. So just so you know, local press could write articles if they see that and say, hey, this FFL in our area is, in this program, because they have a lot of traces. That means they're supplying, and they can spin it any way they want. They're supplying guns to criminals, blah, 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 blah. But, every one of your sales that you're doing are legitimate. And, but that's just, I guess they're trying to raise concern, at least USA Today was, showing what FFLs around the country are in this program, which basically reveals that you had a high number of traces. So I just wanted to touch base with that. Some of you who are starting off, your sales are increasing. This is just something to be aware of. And some of you who are on it already, you're aware of how that program works. But I just wanted to raise that concern to everybody. Second thing I wanted to bring out too was I noticed over the weekend was there is a lot of debate going on in the Congress regarding it was a Reagan era ban on undetectable firearms, and it's about to expire. And the reason I realized this because when I was in with ATF in last time it was passed or continued was in 2013, and ATF had to have a lot of meetings with the U.S. Attorney's Office regarding this, showing them why this is important, why this need to go forward. Basically, it's it required every firearm to have at least at a minimum 3.7 ounces of metal within the firearm. And the reason that is because it might be changing now with the sophistication of a lot of the metal detectors, scanners, etc. Because that's when with that much metal in it, the metal detectors could detect at airports, courthouses, etc., that someone was carrying a firearm or something on them. So that was about to expire. And there's a lot of argument going back and forth regarding this, stating, hey, is this necessary still or not? Do we still need this? Because the detectors now are so good, they can detect something without metal. But so that's a lot of debate going on about this. So I don't know if anybody's even aware of that or not. If you were, good for you. But it's something that it's out there. A lot of people are saying it's not necessary anymore because of technology. But I'm going to see if that one goes through or not, because it's pretty interesting now as well. You know, the CNC machines, you can make a firearm just out of plastic now, plastic bullets, carrying to a courthouse, and that's not a good situation if it's not detected, or an airport or airplane. So I'll try to keep up on that and see what else comes out as regarding that, if that goes through or not. Last thing I wanted to bring up today, it's something that we've been coming into past year several times now, and it has to do with, and you've heard us talk about revocations.
Yeah.
And this issue's been coming up now lately by ATF. They're bringing this item to the surface, stating that FFLs are making false statements or representations and not conducting NICS background checks. So when does this come into play? The ones that we're seeing are coming into play is when they're claiming that somebody is doing, they're not saying a straw sale, but they're basically saying false statements or representations and not doing a NICS check. It's a straw sale, they're saying. They're claiming it's a straw sale. They're just trying to word it differently. And it could be very simple. It's very simple at times. It could be somebody comes in, gets denied, 5 days, 6 days, whatever days later, an individual with the same premise, same last name, it could be a spouse, purchases that exact same firearm and gets approved. So ATF obviously looks in your denied folder of denials, matches it up and says, well, hey, this person shouldn't have got this firearm. That background check should have been on that denied person, even though the individual got approved. So and it's for the same firearm. So that's one way. Or it can be simple that somebody didn't even get a background check approved or denied. It just was a status that was kind of canceled, or not even didn't even have any more further processing. They just never received a response. That a lot of times could happen because somewhere they're looking for a charge and they're not getting that from a local state government. They're not getting that response back to FBI NICS or a point of contact state on that charge. So that just kind of stays in limbo. But a person could come in again, as I said before, same address, same name, same last name, buying the same exact firearm, and the same thing happens. ATF claims that that's a straw sale and that should not happen. Background check should have been done on the person that is out there in limbo. And you're making the FFL, you as the FFL is making false states or representations, not only on your Form 4473, but in your A&D book as to whom received the firearm. You know for a fact that if somebody got a background check approved, you're going to close it out as a sale to that individual who got approved. So we're seeing this lately. And for us, I all times I chuckle when it gets to this because Chris's first question he asks ATF is always, "What is that, Chris?"
Did you go check and see if they had the gun?
There you
Because
go.
obviously it's not a straw sale if the person who said they're buying the gun still has the gun,
Yeah.
right?
And this is something that I mentioned to Chris and Mike Bouchard, who knows this too, is in the past things like this would have been a referral, and this is something else we bring up too, would have been a referral to ATF law enforcement for them to check it out and see is this something they need to pursue or not. It wasn't identifying this as a straw sale and misrepresentation or false statements. That's all it was. And if ATF law enforcement decided to pursue that, they would. If not, then they just would say we're not gonna pursue this. And it could be for a lot of reasons. But now it's taken a little bit of a different turn. And that's when we also go back and ask them if they did a referral to law enforcement. Well, what was the findings? Some people are saying, I don't know, it's not my job. I just give the referral. Chris always follows up. Well, isn't one of the names in your title investigator? And yes.
they love when I
So,
ask that question.
it's kind of strange, but it's sad that some FFLs are going to a hearing based on this type of a violation. And it's not a false statement. They're saying it is, but our point is pursue it if it is a straw sale, and go after the person who's conducting who's buying the firearm for somebody who may be prohibited. But if you never received the background check at all, denial or proceed, you don't know because they actually could have transferred that firearm after 3 days,
Sure.
and we're past 3 days because they're waiting for that background that information to come back for a proceed or denied. So it's a lot of different things there within this type of violation that ATF's bringing up a lot. It's tricky, and it catches some FFLs off guard. You guys have lists of denials, things like that. Especially if you're electronic records, you can create electronic denial list. Even if you're manual, you can check your manual record of denials or firearms. I think we have somebody who, anytime, I think it's when they get a denial, they of somebody and whatever gun they're purchasing, they put some type of a sticker on a firearm now, a red sticker, just in case somebody comes in to buy that same firearm. So just I want everybody to be aware of that. Have something in place for denials if you can. Name, last name, address, whatever, gun even. Because usually they're coming in for the same gun, is what we're seeing on these ATF notices of revocation. But I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention going forward here, because we are seeing these as one of the sole reasons for why somebody's getting revoked.
One of the other scenarios that I often give in a revocation hearing when I'm boxing in the IOI is the fact that a husband and wife could come in together or not together, because the husband is going to purchase a gun and give it as a gift to his wife on her birthday. They're shooters, they shoot together, what have you. And his thing comes back denied. So maybe he buys a gift certificate. Maybe he gives her cash and says, look, here's what I was going to buy you that gun you wanted that we've been shooting with at the range, but I came back denied. So you go get it. And this is what I was going to get you. To me, that's a valid sale because you can buy a gun and gift it. And so I put that out there because, Mike, I know that you and I will be having breakfast or lunch or dinner on Wednesday in where are we going to be? Kansas City? No.
Louisville.
Louisville. Yes. Somewhere west. They all seem the same to me. Louisville. And this is an issue there. So if you can, if you don't mind, since I brought it up, you know that list of that cheat sheet that you gave me on straw purchases? I would love to know everything there is to know about gifting a firearm. See if you could do a little cheat sheet for me on that. Michael Bouchard. Glad we could take you from the golf course today. How have you been? And what do you got for us? Anything good?
I'm doing well, thank you. Hope everyone else is doing well. Just one thing, I don't know if anybody caught it on Face the Nation yesterday. The ATF director spoke about the challenges that ATF faces. It's probably a good link on YouTube for the full interview. Whether you agree with him or not, he's explaining from ATF's perspective what the challenges are. It goes about 35 minutes. He did a good job explaining everything. But again, it probably be useful for everybody to just take a look at that. So again, you hear their perspective. And then Chris, are you going to cover the meeting with the director and the others this week?
Yes.
Okay. And that's all I have. Thank you. Any questions?
So to dovetail right into that, while Michael Franzak and I are fighting the good fight in Louisville, Michael Bouchard, Alexis, our director of operations, who couldn't join us today, and Lauren, our executive director, and my wife, will be headed to Columbus, Georgia, to have a meet and greet with the director, deputy director, executive assistant director, and others at one of our clients' locations. And the only reason Brother Brian won't be there is because he will also be doing the Lord's work. And where the hell are you going to be, Brian? Somewhere else.
Wichita, Kansas.
Wichita, Kansas. It sounds to me as a New Yorker like Louisville, Kentucky. Like they all sound
It's all the same, dude. They're all the same.
But okay, so you'll be in Wichita, so that's why you wouldn't be there. But all that being said is we continue to maintain our dialogue with the ATF hierarchy. And believe me, we have no problems dropping little seeds and little bombs and little things like, here's what's going on here. What is this all about? Or do you even know this is happening? Do you know that DIOs say this or IOIs say that? I heard just today from someone that an IOI told a licensee that they shouldn't, after receipt of a lengthy report of violations subsequent to a 5-month inspection, 5 months. The IOI told the licensee that if they got legal counsel involved, it'll just make things more complicated. Don't do that. Yeah, right. So I will tell you, those days are long gone. There's absolutely nobody's doing you any favors anywhere. Keep that in mind. Brian and Avis talk to us about some client relation things and what you're hearing, because I know we've had a lot of chitter chatter, a lot of activity, which I'm going to talk about. You know what I'm going to talk about, Brian. So
yeah.
What was your chitter chatter this month with the folks post SHOT Show?
Well, first and foremost, we're updating a bunch of our documents for our records, seeing as that we are a law firm. Every once in a while, we need to update our documents, our power of attorney, our payment forms, our engagement letters, things along those lines. Those of you that are on the call, you may be or have already received a notification to sign some documents electronically for us. It is legit. We just need to get documents updated. Some of you haven't signed a power of attorney in multiple years. And of course, we need to get them updated as our staff changes. And as the times change, we need to add different language into our documents. So please stay up to date on our documents. Avis has been manning the help desk for us over the past couple of weeks as we've been running around. So I will let Avis speak to the fun stuff that has been coming in, though I would like to drop one little nugget in there that we did speak to someone else who's utilizing the A&D software Coreware, And again, as we mentioned months ago, there are issues with this program. We need clients of ours that are on Coreware to please be in touch with us. We do know of 4 or 5 of you already. You know who you are because you have contacted us, but please, if you're on Coreware, please contact us. We do need to talk to you. There are some issues with that software that are now being picked up in inspections, and violations are being written. Other than that, Avis, what's been wrapping the help desk?
Real quick,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say real quick on that, Brian, that's just for if you're using their A&D book, not if they're using their POS system, correct?
Yeah, the point of sale don't care about. I care about what you're
Okay.
putting real. I know what you use, bro. Don't.
Okay, that's what I'm
Yep.
asking. All right, thanks.
Yep, no problem.
Okay. Well, we're still seeing questions about the wonderful arm braces. Where Palmetto Arms is still shipping them out. Some of the other distributors are still shipping them out. Yes, you can ship them. Chris will back you up if you need to, but it is a case-by-case situation because it could change at the drop of a hat. So just know that that is a situation that we're looking at. I want to remind everybody, as always, if you're having an inspection, please put in a ticket. Let us know once it's over. If everything went great, let us know. Because we need to know these things so we can close them out or know what we need to hunt down for you. 2 other things I would like you to look at for tickets when you're doing your inventory, whether it's quarterly, like we would love to see, or if it goes a little longer, please put in a ticket that says we did our inventory, things went well, things went bad, whatever, just so that we have a record and can show that, you know, these are your good things that you're doing. Should we have to back you up, that we've got documentation. Yes, you've got it at the store, but we can see it in our system. You have done inventory. If you have any thefts or losses, whether they're in transit, whether they're in the store, please make sure you're sending us a copy of that. We've got people that they'll put something in. Oh yeah, that gun was stolen 6 months ago and now I've got a trace on it. Should I be worried about it? Well, we didn't even know you had a loss. So make sure that you're not just putting questions into the help desk. It's also a good place to store information and to make sure that we are informed of what is going on in your store. And that's what I've got today.
So Avis and Brian, I just quickly looked through our chat and someone, I'm sorry, I don't know who it was, I forget, but had mentioned if there was an update on the export ban. I know that that's normally a area that Alexis covers. She's not here. It's really subject matter expert Kim Pratula's field of expertise. So I can't speak intelligently on it. I'm not sure what has happened, and I don't know if any of the team on today has, but my suggestion is let's put a generic help desk question in for, can you give me an update on the export ban and what's going on there? And then this Friday, we will make it our help desk question of the week and provide that as a response to that. And also, let's ask Kim to join us on our next scheduled call.
Okay.
I will let everybody, just leave everyone with this, how I spent my February, and to be forewarned. It's a cautionary tale. I have been doing business with Chase Bank for well over a decade. So I've been a lawyer for 25 years. I've had my own practice for 20 years, and I established FFLGuard 15 years ago. And I've been doing business with Chase all that time. And I've run millions upon millions of dollars through that bank. And for some reason, this February, I don't know why, maybe it's because I keep kicking everybody's balls in at hearings, but I don't know. My bank account got frozen. And I lost access to about $100,000 worth of working capital. And for 4 weeks, I had to tap dance around, and thank God that Operation Choke Point is something that has affected retailers for years, you know, has been addressed by NSSF, by Congress, and the banks are on notice that they can't fuck about with retailers' money. But, all the checks that come in and out of my bank account say, ammo this or guns that, or, sharpshooters or blah, blah, blah. So, for whatever reason, my account was flagged. And thankfully, because of Choke Point years ago, and because of COVID and all the other tinfoil hat shit made me a conspiracy theorist, I had money kind of set aside that I could maneuver for at least a month until I had everything released and squared away. But some of you heard from me by telephone, giving you a call saying, hey, Chase Bank wants to know you're real, I'm real, and we have a real relationship. And I appreciate all of those of you who helped me. If you guys just want hear a little bit of humor, after 3 weeks of jerking around, I went with my backpack and my Red Wells and my pens and papers, and I sat at the bank every minute of every day for 3 straight days until I got word to someone somewhere and filed complaints with 3 different federal agencies and made a commotion, short of being arrested. And when I got the general counsel to Chase on the phone on Thursday afternoon and told him, what's going on here, Thursday night, suddenly I had access to all of my money again. Oh, so, whatever. If you've been looking for me, I've been dealing with the bank. Be warned. No one's, am I still at Chase Bank? Well, that's a funny question, Jeff. You see, the emotional Italian American from New Jersey would have burnt the fucking bank down by now. But I try to take a page out of former President Trump's book and keep my head about me and say, bring it. I don't give a shit what you're bringing, you bring it. And I'm in negotiation to get an extensive line of credit to cover such an occasion if this calamity should happen again. And if that doesn't go through, then no, I won't be at Chase anymore. I moved my personal accounts out of there. I moved other, as you can imagine, FFLGuard has ancillary businesses. I moved that out of there. This is their last chance. So instead of being a hothead, as I've been known to be, I'm trying to be cool about it and be a businessman about it and work it to my advantage. And if it works, it works. And if not, I'm out. That's that. So to that's my story. That's my February story. A little fireside chat like Roosevelt. I don't know if anybody else has anything that we need to address, but outside of that,
April.
April.
You want to do 15, middle of the month? Or you want to do 8?
It has to be the 8th because the 15th, me and Mike and who the hell else will be doing God's work in Houston as we're prone to do. So let's just do the 8th. Let's reschedule the California call for the 8th. Thank you everybody for joining us. This video will be posted within a couple days, as soon as the team gets around to posting it. We'll see you on the 8th. If you have any questions, you know how to reach the help desk. You know how to reach me. In fact, somebody's literally calling me right now. Not even let me hang up the phone, calling me right now. So we'll see you next month.
Thanks.
Bye.